Hello everyone. Hello everyone. I am in my studio and I'm going to be making a wreath because 'tis the season. So the wreath I'm going to be making will be right here. And these are my tools. My tools are here, and a scissors, which is somewhere. And this is the material I'm going to be using. And there's my coffee that I'll be drinking. And here's my very sophisticated stand for my camera. Let's see if I can put this on here without causing any trauma. Of course, the camera has a weight to it. I need to make sure which of these is loaded. That's not loaded. Oh my God. Hate my life. So I have been making wreaths out of non-vegetation for many years. I know many people want to use dead plants. Dead vegetation. Well, that's not me. I use rusty bits of debris, and in this case I'm using a cut-up box from a uhaul company. You know, a lot of people in my building are moving in and moving out, and so there's a lot of these boxes in the recycling bin, because rather than going to the liquor store where they can buy free boxes, they get free boxes, they go to U-Haul and buy them. I don't know what U-Haul charges for these things, but too much. This, even though I have many wonderful drafting sets where I can draw a circle, I'm just going to use this when it comes time for the circle to make it relatively circular. So I'm putting that aside. And the U-Haul boxes, I should have kept one that wasn't broken down, but the U-Haul box has lots of green ink and some orange ink. And the orange is going to be the bow and the tassels on the bow, and the rest of it up here will be the actual round part of the wreath. Now, what I do when I create these wreaths made out of non-vegetable material, I usually try to create it so that the bow is somehow different from the... Yes, I know what's happening. I'm dribbling all over the place. Did this say no dribble? What does this say on the box? I guess it doesn't say that on that particular box. I have one that says no dribble. Maybe I should have bought the no dribble one. Whatever. So what I try to do with my bow, I try to make the bow significantly different than the round part of the wreath. And sometimes if I'm making a wreath out of old picture hanging wire, which I've done many, I will create the wreath out of the old rusty bits and the bow out of shiny bits of wire. Where do I have an example? Wait right there. never mind. You know what rusty wire looks like, and you know what shiny wire looks like, so you can do the math yourself. So anyway, this one is going to have, the bow is going to be the orange and the green, and the wreath will be the green and the green. So we've got 2 long tassels, and I might make one a little longer. I don't want them symmetrical after all, right? So those are the 2 tassels, and I can make them longer if I want to. Now for the bow part, so you have a bow. And I like the little rounded part here, and it'll go like a figure 8 here. Do I want that there? I don't think I have to be that literal. I don't have to always have it be no, no, yes, no. Did I make that wrong? Did I cut that wrong? Yes, I cut it wrong. I want the green to be on the outside. Yes, I know, you saw me almost get burned, didn't you? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You almost saw me get burned. So if I want the green, maybe I'll do this. I'll have the green on the outside on this one. No, that doesn't work. It's like when you tie a bow tie, a bow tie that a human would wear at a wedding. Now I know you people out there know this already. People that watch my channel know this already, that you do not use clip-on bow ties. It's you can see my brother got married and he had clip-on bow ties, and a friend of mine saw the pictures I was showing him of my brother's wedding, and it was a little tiny regular sized picture. This is before smartphones had a camera on them. Is this even gonna work? That's right, get it on the fucking table. And the bride and the groom and the bridal party were in a boat which was far away, and you couldn't barely see the people in the boat. No, you could see that there were people in the boat, and you could see the boat was far away, but the whole entire boat was in the picture. So here's the picture, here's the boat, here's the people were this big. And my friend looked at it and he said, "My God, clip-on bow ties, Pierre?" And they were wearing clip-on bow ties, and he could see the clip-on bow tie from a mile away. So we don't like clip-on bow ties. But the interesting thing about a clip-on bow tie is people that don't understand how bow ties work will try to make them even in a way that they cannot be even. They are not. You have the bow and you have an end, and the bow is on top on one side and it's on the bottom on the other side. And if you try to make them both be on top, it's not going to work. But people look at it and they think, so this is meant to represent that, because of the orange on the inside here and the oranges on the outside there. See how clever I can be? I think I have some sort of neurological problem because I'm having a hard time not dropping things. No, that doesn't make sense. I drop things easily. I'm having a hard time holding on to things. That's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just going to add a little strength on the back. No. Yes. I bought these packets of glue at Target, and there was packets for $5, and there was packets of more sticks for $3. And I could see no reason why I wasn't gonna be a cheapskate. So I bought the cheaper ones. Okay, so here, do I want to have the bow have red on one side and green on the other on both sides like this? Or do I want to have it like that, where the red is on the inside? I think I'm going to throw caution to the wind and do it this way. I don't know if that's the right word. If I'm throwing caution to the wind. I'm not entirely throwing caution to the wind. I am making a decision without much thinking. And that, I guess, can be caution to the wind, throwing caution to the wind, but okay, is that going to stay? One of the problems of using material like this, boxes, is cardboard boxes are meant to start falling apart the minute you start using them. This is not archival material. I'm going to make the tails on this long. This one needs to be longer. This is a long tail on this one. I can always cut it down a little later if I feel that it's too long. Now, when you make a wreath, when you buy a wreath to hang on your door, or when you make a wreath out of dead vegetable material, and you add a bow to it, do you put the bow at the top of the wreath so that the streamers fall in between or inside of the circle of the wreath, or do you put the wreath at the bow at the bottom? You have to answer this correctly if you want to be my boyfriend. I remember there was a friend of mine who came out to his parents. No, he didn't come out to his parents. I mean, he did, but he didn't. This was not part of that story. Yes, it was part of that story, but it wasn't the punchline of the story. Put it that way. Anyway, he was telling me that, you know, his parents would not be upset if he came home with he was white. So if he came home with a black girlfriend or a blonde boyfriend or some other, I don't remember the examples of different kinds of people, but the mother said, make sure you don't come home with a Republican, because their family was extremely Democrat. And of course, you'd have to convince me, Mr. Mr. Right out there for me. If you think that you want to be my boyfriend and you are a Republican, you really have to explain that to me, especially now with moron in the White House. How anyone is a Republican at this point in time is that's going to be something that in the future people will discuss. How could people be so stupid as to allow Adolf Hitler to get control of the company? How could they be so blind? Well, here it's not even being blind, it's just being stupid. Did you not? A lot of people, are saying, I can't believe Donald Trump is so bad. I voted for him, but I can't believe it. No, he hasn't changed. He's the same exact stupid person. Self-serving. Anyway, what am I going on? So, for me, there is a correct answer for where the bow goes on a wreath. Does it go at the top or the bottom? What do you think? What do you think my belief about wreath bowage will be as I continue to make this? Now, I charge money for these things that I do, and people pay me money for things, even though this is something that you can do at home with some hot glue, whether it be cheap hot glue or expensive hot glue. You can do this at home. You can also do it with liquor boxes, or you can do it with U-Haul boxes. But it's not as easy as it looks. It took me 63 years of paying attention to the world and paying attention to art to be able to come up with where this piece is going to go. Is it going to go here? No. Will not possibly go there. It might go there, but it will not go like this. I'm just telling you, there is rhyme and reason to my wreath making, or any sort of art making. It does not come accidentally. You have to think about what you're doing. And when you think, you have to weigh your options. There are some people, some artists I know, who they are given an assignment, or these are mainly students, I guess, that I knew. Either were my students or they were fellow students, depending. Okay, why isn't this sticking? Is this the crappy glue that I bought? I think it's because it wasn't touching. And you don't just stop at the first. You don't just put something down and say, okay, that's it. You have to look at it. You have to see it, look at it, maybe try a different location, and then you have to ask yourself, does this look better than the first idea that I had? And then you have to think about that. You can't just say yes, it looks better. You have to say yes, and it looks better because of something else. And why is my battery... Look, I just charged you up. It's 19 minutes of doing this, and now the battery is low. Who's in charge of these things? So the idea is you have to pay attention to what you're doing, and you have to ask yourself, okay, if this looks better, why does it look better? You can't just accept it. You have to learn. Why does it look better? Now, sometimes it's just based on purely on just looks. Okay, I like the balance of this. The balance of this is good. Other times you have to actually think a little bit more. Maybe it's more clear in writing. You choose this word rather than another word because of a particular reason. "100%." So, same thing with art. I could have picked a different piece to put right there, but I put that piece there. Well, because my battery is running out as I'm doing this, and I don't have a cord to plug it in anywhere right now, I probably should tell you where I think the bow should be. I think the bow goes on the bottom. I think when it's on the top, it covers up the empty space, which I think is more important. So this will go down here. So rather than up at the top coming down. So Mr. Wright out there, if you are interested in talking to me about romance and stuff, you can maybe convince me that the bow goes on the top. Maybe that's an important part of your bow philosophy. Let me know in the comments below. Where do you put your bow? Do you put it on the top or on the bottom? Question mark. Tell me. Let me know. What do you do with your bows? See, this area is too confined. I need a spike coming out of the bottom or going toward the outside. So there it is. God damn it! My house is a disaster. I'm a disaster. How I don't get trapped and starved to death in one of my little cubby holes is beyond me. Bye.